Good evening. Sorry, I didn't mean to I clap in front of the microphone. Good evening. Welcome to Squatter Talk Tuesday live. I'm excited about today. I don't know, just something really great happened, and I've been looking forward to sharing it. It affects me. It affects me moving forward. It's something that I've been kind of holding in, haven't been able to talk about. And I've been looking forward to sharing. And some of you have figured out what it's, who it's regarding based on the intro video and the video that's out there promoting tonight. But I want to thank those of you that are joining me. Okay, so I think so. One of the things that I'm doing, and I totally forgot to start it, is as of tonight, this Squatter Talk Tuesday is also being broadcast simultaneously as a podcast. So currently it is on Podbean. So podbean.com or the app Podbean. You can hear Squatter Talk Tuesday live. Also, if you want to listen to it in the car or something like that, if you can't make it in time to log into YouTube, if you're driving, I wanted to bring it to you in a podcast. I will be getting them started to go to all forms and all formats so that you can watch it on Apple or you can watch it on, I don't know, I'm drawing a blank, Spotify, things like that. And then, to start it, I actually forgot to hit start on it because I wanted to do it live. It has already uploaded 10 of the last, or 10 of the previous episodes. So anyone finding it as a podcast will be able to catch up. So anyway, so I'm excited about that. And so if it's not live and I did it wrong, then it will be posted after automatically as well on Podbean. Like I said, podbean.com or the app Podbean. And you can look up the title of my podcast is Flash Shelton, and then in quotes, the Squatter Hunter. So it's more Squatter Hunter specific to Squatter Talk Tuesdays, unlike YouTube, where I wanted to leave it open to where I can do a video about any outside the box topic or passion of mine, or if I just see something that's odd, I can do it on YouTube. So that's why the name difference. But typically you can search anything with Flash Shelton if you're trying to find me or anything that I'm involved in. So I'm so excited. I had, people had been asking me like, how come you're not? Are you just going to do Squatter Talk now? And are you not posting any videos? And, the truth is I couldn't talk about, yes, I mean, I had hand surgery and I had different things come up. But then lately I was in a situation where I had these, hearings coming up. And this was the first hearing just happened this past Friday. So I was kind of being low key a little bit. I was hesitant to do a lot of posting about certain people, and I was just kind of making sure that I was legal in what I'm doing, because the last thing I want to do is make a mistake and that shut me down, shut the business down, shut me down to where I can't help people. So I'm always looking for, through the laws and my rights and various ways that I can get my job done. And I want to make sure that I don't say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, because it's going to hurt me, but it's going to hurt everyone if I have to shut down and can't do it. So, I was still doing things, but I was still doing it. What I wasn't doing is I wasn't posting the videos. I wasn't posting squatter removals because I needed to get through these hearings. I have 2 more hearings coming up, but this one is going to set the precedence for the other ones, and hopefully anyone else in the future that tries to shut me down and shut down my First Amendment rights. So I'm going to get right to it. Like always, if there's any comments or questions, let me check in there right now. If there's any comments or questions regarding this or anything else, I'll do my best to get to those questions and answer them the best I can. And if I feel that you really need some personal time, then I'm going to suggest you do a Zoom. But I'm always going to try to get to those comments before I end tonight. So and I knew, because I had done my research and I'm a smart guy, and I knew what my rights were, what my First Amendment rights were, and freedom of speech, and my being being in the media, my right to not only free speech but also freedom of the press. So I knew that I could do that. But I'll tell you what, it was great hearing that, hearing a judge say that. And the judge basically laid it out like, threat of violence, continued harassment. I wasn't harassing in any way. Posting about her the truth is what he said. Posting about her is, she was told, you can't use process. You can't use, the court system to stop and take away somebody's First Amendment rights. He has a right to tell the truth. He has a right to say that you're a non-paying tenant because you are a non-paying tenant. You are a squatter. She says, I'm not a squatter, So, and I know I'm kind of dragging along here, but let me get to the point here. The thing is that, she brought up all of her evidence against me was like literally my own videos. So I wasn't going to dispute them. Yes, Your Honor, that's my video. I said that. I stand behind that. And, she was told basically that, I have a right to talk about her and tell people that she's not paying rent. And, and she said, look, you have a right if you don't like your landlord and you think that your landlord's, a slumlord, you can tell people that, not to rent from your landlord. And he has a freedom of speech, and as long as he's telling the truth. And he said, if you want to go after him for defamation, first of all, it's a different court. And he said, but if you can prove that what he's saying is a lie, then you can go after him for defamation. But if he's telling the truth, then you have no case. She said, but Your Honor, I'm not a squatter. Now, this is a big thing right here. Your Honor, I'm not a squatter. I have a lease. Okay? Because there's been all this talk about, oh, they have a lease, they're not a squatter. Oh, they have a lease, they're not a squatter. And I get people all the time commenting. The judge says, are you paying rent? She says, no. Have you ever paid rent? She says, no. He says, well, I don't see anything wrong with calling you a squatter. That was perfect. The look on her face, I wish I could have recorded in court. It was just beautiful. That was like music to my ears right there. Okay. He then also, and this is how it affects homeowners, because, I've been telling homeowners, be careful, don't say things. And I'm going to still tell you to be careful to blast your tenant or your squatter online. But the judge flat out told her that just like you have a right to go on and say your landlord is not fair and your landlord is this and your landlord is that, and voice your opinion online, your landlord has a right to do the same thing to you if you're not paying rent. Your landlord can say, I have this tenant who isn't paying rent. I have this tenant who wrote me a bad check. So That's big, I think, because a lot of people are so afraid to say anything. Now, I'm going to tell you to still be careful. This is one judge saying that. And, but the fact that it's a judge in California, that's pretty big. Now, I would be careful because there is a line between, that separates free speech and harassment. And, for example, if you are posting with the intent to embarrass someone, that's considered harassment and they get a restraining order against you. Okay. Posting facts that they cannot prove is wrong, that's more of your First Amendment rights, and it's not harassment. Now, one of the things in my favor is that I don't have a personal relationship with any of these people, and I never post anything with the purpose of embarrassment. And I'm very clear in my videos that I am posting for safety and public awareness. So I am absolutely following the guides of line of freedom of press, freedom of speech, my First Amendment rights. Okay, so still be careful, but that was a big thing. Now, the other thing that's really good that for homeowners and for myself is a while back, one of the videos that she used against me, I had mentioned about utilities being shut off. And she wanted to present it saying that I was telling homeowners to shut off their utilities. But I'll take that off. It's not. But she shows this video, and then she stops the video. And I believe, I said to the judge, I said, Your Honor, can I address this? And he said, yeah, because the homeowner in that situation let the utilities turn off. Okay. Now, she followed what I said in my video. I did not say you can turn off utilities. What I said is, if you can't afford utilities, you cannot be ordered to afford them. So if you don't pay the bill and it gets shut off, that's legal. You shutting off utilities with the intent to get them out, just shutting them off, that's illegal. Okay. In my video, that's exactly what I say. And she said, and he said, the judge said, absolutely, that is right. That is good advice. I can't order her to afford to pay the bill, right? Now, she said, well, but she reached out to the utility company and they're not letting me turn on the water because she told them not to. He said, well, do you have proof of that? She showed an email from the utility company that said, we are sorry, we cannot turn utilities on for you as this lease has expired. That's a big thing right there. Her lease has expired, so the utility company in Southern California would not turn on her water. So that's another like good thing to know for a homeowner, and so that, and then what else? There was man. Sorry. Yeah, I'm excited. I was very happy. I had been kind of like, crazy, but so the other thing is she brought up a video where I said, and I'm going to put this one back up there. She brought up a video where I said, I was talking about restraining orders, and I said that restraining orders won't stop me. So she, when you present evidence, and specifically, I guess when you present a video, you have to tell the judge, this is what you're going to see on this video and how it applies. And so she plays a video of me talking about restraining orders, and I say that a restraining order won't stop me. And I said, restraining order will not stop my First Amendment rights. And I said, and a restraining order will not stop me from process. Okay, she's playing that. And then I say, I had an interesting meeting with a lieutenant today, and I asked the lieutenant, if God forbid somebody was to get a restraining order on me, can't I just call and have officers accompany me onto the property so that I can fulfill my job? And the lieutenant, she said, absolutely. A restraining order will not stop you from doing your job. All you have to do is get a unit out there to assist you, and you can do anything you want, even if there are protective orders against, you not being able to be around them. Officers can accompany you, right? So the judge says, that is absolutely 100% the truth. You cannot use restraining orders, the court system, to stop process. He has a process. He is able to fulfill his process. You cannot get in the way of mediators, of anybody who is, who is trying to do their job with a restraining order. So if for some reason there is a restraining order, due process does not stop. Okay? Because then the truth is, I have officers accompany me anyway. So if I'm going to enter the property, I have officers with me, typically just for a civil standby on different departments. I've told you this before. So no issue there. So it was good. Like I said, I knew this stuff, but to hear a judge say that was big. The in court was the homeowner, the next door neighbor. They were all trying to get restraining orders on everybody. She walked out of there being told that I can post. There's nothing she can do about it. And she walked out of there with a restraining order on her instead of the restraining orders on everyone else that she was hoping for. So, so I came out of it thinking, look, I can call it a non-paying tenant a squatter, and I can post my videos, and I can continue to do my job and work with law enforcement and assist homeowners to get these squatters out. Now, I have a couple more hearings coming up, right? I've got one in May and one in June, and it's interesting because like one of these, I had already walked away, non-paying tenant, go through the eviction process. I didn't post. I didn't have any interaction. I had no intention of exposing. The filings are all about like stopping me from exposing and doing different things. And, in turn, what they end up doing is causing more exposure. I mean, if the media was to show up there because somebody's trying to, to basically stop me from having my First Amendment rights, and they want to carry that story, that's going to give them more attention than I ever probably would have. And so anyway, I'll let you know how the next two hearings go, and those will come up on lives, and I'm going to prepare for the next one. I ordered the transcripts. But the homeowner still has an eviction case coming up. Here enables me to do more to help that homeowner than I could if it had gone wrong or if it had gone a different way. But if there are any questions, and here we go. We got some stuff here. Let's see here. Yeah, typical Christian behavior. Let's see here. What's going on with the eviction registry? Here's a question. Okay, so what is going on with the eviction registry? It's the NSTR. Now, these hearings, and this actually helps me because this also tells me that I can continue with the registry because, again, I'm stating facts and I have my First Amendment rights. There are some states, and I just was notified that Oregon just passed a law to to hide. I don't remember if it's 1,800 or 18,000 squatters and non-paying tenants from the eviction list. It's kind of like it's an attempt to give them a second chance. But there is a difference between the government sharing information and me sharing information as a private individual. So if you had a squatter or a non-paying tenant in Oregon, and the person that victimized you is going to be knocked off that list, please send that information in. Tell me they were on that list. Send it to submit@squatterhunters.com so that I can make sure that they continue to be on a list. We're going to get back to doing the registry. I do have these other hearings coming up, but expect me to start publishing the NSTR registry, National Squatter Tenant Registry. Let's see here. What about California? Be clear. Okay, so we all right, I just got that. Yeah, so what about California? Be specific with what you're asking about. All right, so all right, well, eventually these people will figure out. So I got LA County Sheriff's Department's on here, and they're asking me to go pick up a couple more restraining orders. All right, so well, you probably didn't send them to my home, but anyway, eventually they're going to get the idea that a restraining order isn't going to stop me, but I will somehow meet up with you to get that started and get it taken care of. Anyway, so non-paying tenant who I evicted, can I get him in the registry? Yes, if you have an eviction on them, you can send the information in to submit@squatterhunters.com, and as long as if they're a tenant, you need to have an eviction order. So for me to add them. So, all right. So I appreciate you guys. If you have any more questions real quick about this past case, then let me know. And if not, I will see you next week. I appreciate you guys. Stay safe and remember, if you have a squatter or an intruder or anything, don't handle it yourself. Use law enforcement for the one thing that they're able to do. Use them for safety. Get them to make sure that your situation, your home, and your family is safe. And remember, it's property. Don't take the law into your own hands. It's not worth your life. Okay. Once they tell you that it's a civil matter, there's nothing they can do, you can reach out to me and we can talk about options. But, I don't want any one of you going out in a situation that's unsafe. Let's see here. Take this off of there. All right. So anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you guys joining me this week. Again, you can start catching this on podcasts as well. And it is Flash Shelton, the Squatter Hunter, on podcasts. Okay. So enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you next week on Squatter Talk Tuesday live. Take care now. Be safe. Bye.